Hello, everybody, and thank you for watching. We are live. It is 11:01 p.m. on the 6th day of July, 2022. And again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in this evening, watching live, and those that are watching it as it is replayed. And we're just going to jump right in. We got a lot of things to talk about tonight. Um, Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. And if you're watching on the replay, then leave a comment below as we go through several different and varied topics tonight. And if you watch this afternoon's recorded updates, we're going to be updating yet again some of the same stories. And at the end, I said I had some information that I had just recently gotten about Israel that I was going to be sharing tonight. And it's um, Israel eliminated an important person um, in the Iranian National Guard earlier today. And don't have the identity of that person yet. That'll be coming out in a day or two. It was in the Golan Heights. It's significant because um, Iranian troops are becoming more entrenched in the Syrian region. Also, Russia paratroop 500 paratroopers entered Russia, or from Russia entered northern Syria earlier today. So more of a Russian presence. And Syrian territory being more and more manned, if you will, by Iranian Guard troops, plus um, a large Iranian naval presence in the Red Sea, and information that Iran has enough nuclear material for at least 5 nuclear weapons. So, some significant information sharing here. And all of this is important because also shared today was that Israel, there's some contested waterways, and Israel has just discovered in its part of the waterway a massive amount of natural gas below the ocean. And so Hezbollah and Lebanon want to claim that area as their own. 3 drones were sent out to try to take out the Israeli drill platform that discovered this, and they were shot down by Israeli F-16 fighters purchased from the United States and from missiles from the um, Israeli Navy. So a lot going on over there. Why does it matter? With everything else going on all around the world, it matters. If you're a uh, if you're a Jewish person, if you're a Muslim, if you're a Christian, and if you are a person that just studies the Bible, you'll see connections when I say that Iran, Turkey, and Russia, the big fear in Israel is those 3, Iran, Turkey, and Russia, seem to be kind of coagulating in Syria. More Turkish troops are going into Syria as well. And the target seems to be Israeli oil and gas. Um, Oddly enough, the other night I was talking on here about how um, someone had sent me a prophecy, and we were talking about the CERN collider and the Large Hadron Collider, and trying to find the Higgs boson particle, etc. And that Ezekiel, when thinking about the 17-mile circle of metal that they blast these protons into at different directions, trying to run them into each other. It made me think of Ezekiel's wheel for some reason. And I said I was going to go back and read the book of Ezekiel. And I had some people, say, hey, I read the book of Ezekiel too, and this part spoke to me, and this part spoke to me. And it had been a while since I'd read the entire book. And it spoke right from the beginning, the fourth month, the fifth day, which is in the Hebrew calendar. July's the fourth month. So the fifth day of July, right from the start, it was like, oh, let's pay attention to this. But after hearing all of this today and having just read Ezekiel, Russia, Iran, and Turkey potentially allying to take the natural resources of Israel is very reminiscent of Ezekiel's war, the war Ezekiel talks about in chapter 38 in the Old Testament of the Bible, and how the war is going. It says you're coming. Booty was the word that was used. The jump. Are you coming for booty? Are you coming for plunder? Are you coming to steal? Just as always, something to think about as we start out the night. So how's everybody doing? Hello, Pat Tolliver. Hello, Sissy. Hello, Thunder. Hop into the chat if you are watching on YouTube. If you're watching on one of the other platforms, thank you for watching. Hit the follow, hit the like, thumbs up, whatever it may be per platform. And if you learned something throughout this, feel free to consider sharing it with someone, and definitely hit that like button if you would. Thank you, Sissy. Sissy's our mod, and she's going to make sure that you know how to help out if you would like. americandufus@gmail.com. You want to email me? It's americandufus@gmail.com. Cashapp is americandufus with the $ in front of it. And there's in the descriptions, you can go to links and purchase one of my novels if you so desire. So we started out with Israel, and let's go to Akron, Ohio. This was an hour ago, and protests continuing in Akron, Ohio.
Put it on right. You guys got to move. Why do we have to move?
Because it's unlawful assembly.
How is it unlawful assembly?
Please vacate the area.
How is it unlawful assembly though?
We're standing on the
Get sprayed. Move now. You're going to get sprayed. Move now.
sidewalk.
Come on, baby.
You big with that, right?
You fucking put it on right.
Okay, and we talked about on here that that chances are that the protests would be spreading to other areas in Ohio, and indeed that is the case, as we see here. This came out 10 hours ago, and that is in Columbus, Ohio. There was a protest in New York City tonight for Jayland Walker. The word is gradually getting out. The way it was all, it wasn't in the mainstream news ahead of July 4th weekend, even though it happened the Monday before. CNN didn't report a story until after the body cam footage came out. The story was suppressed. I talked to a friend in Indianapolis this afternoon that didn't know about it yet. Word is gradually starting to spread. I'm anticipating that this coming weekend there might be some major protests when word gets far and wide what happened to Jayland Walker. Um, just something to think about. Why some stories why some stories are all over the news immediately after they happen, and why some stories never make the news, and why some stories have to force their way onto the news. Just something to think about. Moving on here. The Georgia Guidestones were blown up early this morning. Right-wing conspiracy theorists have been obsessed for years with a set of giant stone tablets called the Georgia Guidestones. The tablets, which are reminiscent of Stonehenge in England, suddenly appeared one day. Just they showed up, and cameras are and were always monitoring them. So I imagine they've got footage of what caused this explosion. Lots of different things written on them. It's I'm not sure what to make of it yet. Maintain humanity under 500 million people was one of the things that was blown up, and it was supposed to have been advice given from a higher power, higher source, interdimensional being, an extraterrestrial being. Like it says, there were tons of conspiracies about this, and now there will be conspiracies about who blew it up and why they blew it up. We had a shooting on July 4th, as everybody probably knows by now, because it was published far and wide. The Highland Park shooting in 4th of July parade. We did a breaking story on it as soon as it came out. That's, how significant it was. We didn't realize at the time how significant it was going to become. But all of these shooters of late have been in the same age range and have had a similar presence, if you will, in their social media, in their lives, in their behaviors. And somebody sent me something that that I had not heard about, and I just want to share it with you, and especially those in chat. I want to get your opinion on this, and if you're watching later, if you're watching a replay, let me know what you think in the comments below. And again, go ahead and hit the like button now while you're thinking about it, as we move on to this next subject. Doomer, boomer, gloomer, and zoomer. I've heard boomer, I'm a boomer. And it's based on demographic, based on age category. Doomer, bloomer, and zoomer, I had not heard of until I was referred by somebody that, what do you think of the theory that these zoomers are all being programmed to kill people? And or doomers. So I looked up to see what a doomer was. And maybe you all know, maybe I'm the only one this is new information to, but according to the Urban Dictionary, a doomer is an enlightened version of a so-called involuntary celibate. The first thing that pops into my mind is the gamma male, which is characterized by a negative stance towards the world, which mostly manifests itself as a retreat from society. Like gamma males, doomers experience feelings of resentment and are aware of the great tragedy called life. They experience a phenomenon called Weltschmerz, which can be translated as world pain, pointing to the deep sadness and painful melancholia one experiences because of the world's imperfections. Apparently, the enlightenment that makes a doomer is nothing more than the embrace of his Weltschmerz, by putting it on under a magnifying glass. He wallows in his misery and thrives in it day in and day out without the intention to find long-term solutions that might lead to a happier life. He is a Buddhist without the Eightfold Path, Christian without salvation, or Muslim without God's forgiveness and repentance. The only relief he finds in the use of substances and stimulating the senses by things like video games and porn. I think that the doomer engages in forms of machoism. His idea of enlightenment is perverted when you compare it to the Buddhist approach. He refuses to let go of his suffering and cynicism and is in denial of the idea that there's a way out of the cycle of misery. So the person that sent me that, and I told you I would go through this, we're doing it. And I can see why you might, you've got something to think about. You've given us something to think about. The doomer. Is this a, I don't know, is this something that we can somehow measure and potentially make sure and keep an eye on for the good of society? I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there. Just something to think about. Let me know what you think in the comments if you're in the chat, and let me know what you think below if you're watching the replay. Let's go ahead. The boomer. The boomer is based on a meme that started on the famous internet forums 4chan, and also comes from the term baby boomer, which is the generation born between 1946 and 1964, after the Second World War. Now, a boomer isn't necessarily a person of a certain age. Baby boomer is referring to 46 through 64. Now, a boomer isn't necessarily a person of a certain age. Having studied several definitions of the boomer, the way he's portrayed on the internet, I believe that what characterizes him, particularly from the viewpoint of the doomer, is that he resides in blissful ignorance. Yet they see themselves fit to lecture younger generations, despite the fact that these younger generations might be much better informed. A Reddit poster named Hammurabi states this about the boomer. As mentioned, and this becomes very clear if you look at actual boomer memes, the key theme is their absolute inability to understand that the world has changed, yet they keep giving absolutely retarded advice. They literally live in the past and are too stupid to see that the world has changed, and they are absolutely outdated. Okay, well, I'm a baby boomer, but by this, I don't consider myself to be a boomer. The younger generations are raised on the internet and have been bombarded with an information load in a way that older generations have never experienced. That's why they often have different views of the world and consider boomers as the people who have missed the boat in regards to educating themselves on the latest facts. A boomer could be a 30-year-old, a 20-year-old who carry outdated beliefs and are blind from the harsh realities of the world. So this is not based on age. This is based on mental outlook on the current world. Okay, let's see what a bloomer is. As opposed to the bloomer does have knowledge about the harsh realities of life. So his positive outlook doesn't come from blissful ignorance. These harsh realities do not stop him from living the best and happiest life possible. Instead of okay, I might be a bloomer. Instead of obstacles, he thinks possibilities. Problems inspire him to come up with solutions. His love for people always exceeds his hatred. He carries a machine gun loaded with morals and ethics. Okay, well, unlike the doomer, he doesn't walk around with earphones the whole day. Yeah, because those block him from the most magnificent sounds in the world, the music of life. Bloomer takes and swallows the proverbial red pill, digests it. When it comes out of his behind, he serves as compost for beauty. All right. Well, I think I might be a bloomer. I don't know what you guys think. Zoomer. Zoomers derive from the term boomer and refers to people born in the late 90s and up, also known as Generation X. They are raised by the internet and represent the first truly global culture. Zoomer typically likes to play internet-based video games, Fortnite, Minecraft, key interest in cryptocurrency, most likely has a personal YouTube channel. I don't play video games much anymore. I used to. I have no investment in nor have I in cryptocurrency, and never had a donation in crypto either. The interconnectivity between the Zoomer and the rest of the globe that often occurs at a young age results in an unprecedented influx of information and other stimuli. Suspect that this generation is extra susceptible to internet, porn, and gaming addictions. Believe Zoomers become doomers when they are unable to cope with the toxicity that comes along with the information overload. We already see a counter movement like NoFap that encourages young men to stay away from porn. And I think the bloomers are another example of this counterculture that makes abstinence from harmful aspects of technology a virtue. Yeah, I'm really concerned about the AI thing. I'm really concerned about robots. After seeing the one episode where the robots were trained to do parkour, we know that that's all about training soldiers. So this was my take on the doomer, bloomer, zoomer, and bloomer. All right. Let's give credit where credit is due, as we always try to on here. And this was by Eisel Gonger, okay, from 2019. Maybe the definitions have changed now, but again, I hadn't heard of it, and it gives us something to think about. Let me hop back over here and stop sharing, hop back over here in the chat. I got a couple of more stories yet to come. Hello, Wilbur. Thank you for joining. Again, hello to everybody in the chat. Hello to everybody not in the chat, no matter what channel or platform you're watching on. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button while you're thinking about it so we don't get to the end and you forget it. Anybody have any questions or anything? Pat Tolliver, I'd never heard of it before either. So, again, just it's things to think about, and it, you can kind of see no matter what age range, you can kind of see, there are people in the 50 plus age range that I see as doomers after reading that, anyway, again, something to think about. So I got two more stories here in tonight's live, and we've touched on both of these in the past few days. I spent a lot of time on this afternoon's updates talking about the 1776 movement, and about how it was at a break. It was at a point where it was going to blow up or it was going to implode. And they are indeed standing their ground, holding the line, staying on they're not camping on the National Mall, sleeping in vehicles basically on the streets of the National Mall, ready to start in the morning. And I'm just going to play you some new information that was released by X-Ray Vision. And this came out 112 minutes ago.
You can tell I'm kind of sweaty or whatever. It's super muggy and humid and it rained earlier. So, sort of mess. There's a nest in the road up here. I have good news for you. Are you ready to hear it? Are you ready? There are at least 2 convoys coming here right now of semi-trucks to reinforce us. 2 convoys. They're coming here to reinforce us in DC and we're going to make our stand. What happened today was disgusting. Disgusting.
Okay, so that's our latest update on what's going on. Supposedly 2 more convoys of truckers coming to reinforce them. When are they coming? Are they coming tonight? Coming in the morning? They coming in a few days? Time will tell, and we will see. But nonetheless, this in their minds, this is not going to end simply because their leader was arrested today. And if you don't know about that, go back and watch this afternoon's episode. It's worth a look. A lot of good stuff in there. And one more story here for tonight. This one kind of comes with a warning. And let me find it here. Here we go. This one comes with a warning.
I'm going to diverge one more time before I do. Just so you know where you stand right here and now with where we are at the cutting edge of technology and understanding of our world, but also, you know, what is taking place around us. So you need to switch off now, because for some people this will be too much, and people generally don't want to have the duvets uncovered.
Okay, this sorry, let me back up here because I didn't back up enough. No,
1 million. It's not going to kill you.
okay, hold on just a second. Let me find it if I can. If not, I'll just tell you about it.
Obviously, a higher voltage.
He's talking about, at the moment, he's talking about how the CERN Large Hadron Collider could not impact the magnetic field of the Earth, and explaining why. And he's got something.
But that explains that, hopefully, for those people.
Here we go.
What we're really interested in is what the title's all about. And you're going to be committed from this point on out. So this is the disclaimer. If you really don't want to know what the world you live in is really about, or whatever belief you have, religiously or not, then it's the point in time to turn this video off. I will also say that, you know, I wouldn't recommend you share this video to anyone, so those people that generally share it don't do it.
And I'm not going to share the whole
what
video.
I'm about to explain, and I'm going to diverge one more time before I do.
Okay, just to be
Just so
clear,
you know,
he warns us not to share what we watched with anybody, and it's not all it is just an experiment that has been duplicated that suggests that the entire universe is made up of a conscience, and that everything is connected. And okay, it's not like, that it's just a different outlook on how some people have always looked at things. But what I want you to hear is his one divergent here about CERN.
You stand right here and now with where we are at the cutting edge of technology and understanding of our world, but also, what is taking place around us. So you need to switch off now, because for some people this will be too much, and people generally don't like to have the duvets uncovered from them when they're fast asleep on the night. So if you're one of those people, now's the time to switch off. You've been given your warning, and then we'll go ahead. Okay, so with relationship to the subject of CERN, one thing that did intrigue me, and I would dare say intrigue the people that work at CERN, is one of the incidences that they had where there was accelerating particles, to my belief, faster than the speed of light. And they had not only the particle that was rotating around that 25 mile an hour ring, or 25 mile ring in circumference, but they also had another one spontaneously appear. That's really interesting, because that brings me back to an experiment that was done in the 1950s with 2 atomic clocks. And what it proved was, when one was put on board a plane and travelled at several hours, around about 500, 600 miles an hour, the plane was cruising at, and then come back on the runway, the atomic clock was put next to the other atomic clock that was on the runway and never travelled at any speed. One was slightly advanced than the other. And that proved time travel. Now,
Okay, that proved that time could be altered even a slight bit as atomic clocks are synchronized with each other by moving ahead at a speed. It gave it just enough to be off from the other clock. What he's about to suggest, the speeds that these protons are reaching, is the potential to go farther back in time.
Spent a lot of time thinking about this. How would you ever travel into the future if we've proven already we can travel into the past? If we can alter time just by the momentum of speed, how could we ever travel into the future? Well, the faster we approach the speed of light, time slows down and then stops, and then starts to go back the faster we go. How do we ever travel into the future from that point? That's the question. And the other question is that comes alongside this is, this is not the second, this is the second time they've proved this is feasible. The fact that they discovered another particle in the accelerator as the other one was travelling faster than the speed of light also proves time travel, in the fact that we can go back in time. Now, guys, this is pretty amazing when you think about it. You can imagine going back in time with the knowledge you've got right now. How much you could affect the influence of the future. Can you imagine how you could change the strategies of wars that we've had in the past right now with that knowledge? But the problem is that it doesn't seem to be a returnable journey. That's the thing. We can't go back. But here's the other thing, okay? That's putting that aside, with CERN. That Beansby's talked about CERN and its ability to influence the magnetic field on the Earth we put that on the side. It's a good discussion. They proved again time travel is possible. Why they would not invest in that and go, invest heavily into that, because you could change the past and therefore change the future. Whether it's been done already is another matter, but I don't believe that after discovering that they wouldn't have just left it there alone. Okay, if that blew your mind, what I'm about to tell you right now will.
Okay, I'm not going to play the part he said don't share. You can go watch it. It begins at 17 minutes and 11 seconds. This is at Maverick Star Reloaded. This is Gene. He runs he's the geomagnetic world leader in studying the magnetics of the globe. And I just thought that was interesting and wanted to end the episode sharing that, because that's what we like to do. We like to give you things to think about. And there's so much going on in the world as far as events happening. Every once in a while, it's good just to get your mind into an area of probabilities and just expand it a little bit into the what ifs, Now, as far as time travel, as far as changing history, changing outcomes, we began talking about Israel and about Ezekiel 38 and how God's plan seems to maybe be coming into fruition, because the Ezekiel's war leads to Jacob's trouble. Okay, in Hebrew, Ezekiel's war comes and then Jacob's trouble comes. Jacob's trouble in the Christian interpretations is Harmageddon or Armageddon. All right. And if you're a Christian, you already know as soon as you hear that word, it's like, the Ezekiel's war's got to come, and Ezekiel's war will see divine intervention. You'll see supernatural things happening to armies in Ezekiel's war, according to the Bible. So we kind of started out with Israel and the significance of Israel, because all prophecy is either about Jesus or about Israel, and all the wars we talk about. There are other wars, they don't say between who. Jesus tells us in the Gospels there will be wars and rumors of wars. Doesn't say who, because it doesn't matter. The only times the war matters is when Israel's involved. Think about that when you're looking at prophecies. Just something to think about. So we start with that, and then we get to where we're at now, looking into the future, and the possibility that has CERN 3 years ago proven time travel, and for 3 years that's been what the focus has been. You can only travel backwards. You can't return. You can't go forward in time. But the wrong person, if they send the wrong person back in time, Michael J. Fox maybe could handle it in his prime, but you're going to send Terminator back. You send the wrong person back, and things could go really, really bad. So let's not mess with it, in my opinion. Once again, maybe I'm showing that I'm a bloomer, because while I utilize technology, while I don't fear technology, I also believe that technology can be taken too far, and it's just something to think about. So gone on for about 40 minutes here. I'll take a minute or two. If anybody has anything in the chat, anybody has a question, a comment, or anything. My glasses broke last week. I got them kind of temporarily put back together. I need new glasses, but my insurance won't pay for them at the moment. So every once in a while, my glasses get a little cockeyed. All right. Interesting night. I hope you found it to be the same. And we will be back on as always. We're going to be monitoring all these things. I'm going to be up late tonight watching what's going on with the 1776 movement and see if indeed they get reinforcements in the middle of the night and what it could potentially lead to. So I may be back on live later on in an impromptu live. So therefore, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when we're back on. And please do hit the like. And if you feel like it's worthy, give it a share so other people can see this. Got some interesting stuff in there tonight, as I said, and I hope you think so too. Thank you to Sissy. Sissy, I don't know how you do it. You're awesome. Thank you for what you do, not only here, but for other movements and for other platforms and for the world. And thank you the same to Wilbur, because I know you're doing good stuff. And Pat, who am I missing? Thunder, I know, was in here. And am I missing anybody? Pansock Spike, hello. Big Spank Dog, what to talk about today? A lot of stuff, and I hope you stuck around. A lot of different things, but they're all things to think about. So thank you for watching, and we'll be back soon. Shalom, salam, assalamu alaikum, namaste. Blessings in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And it's a dark world. Do try to be a light. It's a hot world, man. In the area I'm at, we've been in a heat wave. We haven't lost power yet. I'm still kind of leaning towards the power outages they've talked about. Be aware of the power outages because of the heat. I wonder if those aren't because of the Russian weapons we've been talking about, the secret Russian weapons. If you didn't see that episode, go back and check that out. Something to think about as well, or about the possibility. You know, they're just telling us so that when the power goes out, we just assume it's because of the heat and we don't panic. And that's one thing we don't ever want to do. Family, friends, brothers and sisters, cats and kittens, hippies and squares. We don't ever want to panic. We always want to be prepared. I love you all. Dark world, try to be a light. Cashapp, $ americandufus. You can hit the super chat while we're live here, or you can email me, americandufus@gmail.com. We'll be back real soon. I love you all.